Hello, very good morning. Welcome to the Mega News at 6 live and direct from our studios on the 10th Avenue Extension, Great Estate in Wadagono. We'll bring you some more stories from local through international and business stories. But first, let's take a look at the headlines. MAHAMA condemns poor waste disposal after viral Tema fishmonger sanitation video. In business, liquidity crunch could push Ghana towards government default, analysts warn. On an international front, two firefighters' helicopters collide as Greece battles devastating wildfires. My name is El Samuels. The news is also live across our social media handles on MBN360. We'll bring you details of the stories right after this break. In our first story, the President, John Dramani Mahama, has strongly criticized indiscriminate waste disposal following a circulation of a viral video showing the fishmongers in Tema allegedly dumping waste into the sea. The President described the practice as unacceptable, warning that poor sanitation threatens public health and environmental and the country's sustainable development goals. President John Dramani Mahama has condemned what he described as irresponsible waste disposal practices after a viral video showed fishmongers in Tema allegedly dumping refuse into the sea. Speaking on the matter, the president said the incident reflects a broader sanitation challenge that requires urgent action from both authorities and citizens. He stressed that protecting Ghana's beaches, waterways and marine ecosystem is a shared responsibility, urging local assemblies, environmental agencies and community leaders to intensify public education and enforce sanitation regulations. The president warned that indiscriminate dumping not only pollutes the environment but also threatens public health, fisheries and livelihoods that depends on clean coastal waters. Mr. Mahama called on Ghanaians to adopt responsible waste management practices, insisting that lasting environmental protection begins with individuals and collective action. The viral footage has reignited public debate over sanitation enforcement and environmental stewardship in coastal communities. Away from Tema, the Parliament has commemorated African Women's Day with a renewed commitment to advancing gender equality, urging strong action to expand opportunities for women and accelerate their participation in leadership, governance and national development. Ghana's parliament has marked African Women's Day with a call for renewed efforts to promote gender equality and empower women across all sectors of society. During a commemorative event in Parliament, lawmakers underscored the vital role women play in driving economic growth, strengthening democratic governance and shaping national development. Speakers called for sustained investment in girls' education, women's economic empowerment, and greater representation of women in political leadership and decision-making. The occasion also highlighted the need to eliminate barriers that continue to limit opportunities for women and girls, including discrimination, gender-based violence, and unequal access to resources. Parliament reaffirmed its commitment to supporting policies and legislation that advance gender equality in line with Ghana's constitutional principles, the African Union's Agenda 2063, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. African Women's Day is observed annually on July 31st to celebrate the achievement of African women and renew commitment to their rights, equality, and full participation in the continent's development. In other story, Traditional Medicine Practice Council has shut down 30 traditional medicine facilities across Ghana for operating in a breach of the regulatory standards as authorities intensified efforts to protect public health and improve compliance within the sector. The Traditional Medicine Practice Council has closed 30 traditional medicine facilities for violating regulatory requirements governing the practice of traditional and alternative medicine in Ghana. The enforcement exercise forms part of Council's ongoing efforts to ensure practitioners comply with licensing, operational, and professional standards designed to safeguard public health. Officials say the affected facilities were found to be operating without the required approval or had failed to meet key regulatory obligations. The council warned that all traditional medicine practitioners and operators must comply with the law or risk sanctions, including the suspension or closure of their facility. It also urged the public to seek treatment only from licensed and accredited practitioners, stressing that regulation is essential to ensuring safe, ethical, and quality healthcare services. The council says inspections and enforcement operations will continue nationwide as part of measures to strengthen oversight and promote confidence in Ghana's traditional medicine sector.
We've closed down about 30 facilities, and these facilities are facilities where they've failed to be compliant with regulation. So this is a carries call on all providers of these services that kindly ensure that as we are conducting enforcement activities in the Ashanti region, you ensure you do the necessary documentation. If you have officers who work with you, who are known as supporting staff, you kindly ensure that you initiate processes of acquiring licenses for them. For the facilities that we've closed now, most of them have actually appealed to the council, and the council is looking at initiating sanctions. But for ones that we've closed, that they've not appealed to the council to ensure they take the necessary steps to rectify the problem that we've identified. When I go back, we're going to engage the legal team to ensure we initiate criminal proceedings against these practitioners who are operating without the necessary certifications and credentials.
And those are the major stories making headlines across the country. Now on the business desk, Ghana could face increased risks of government payment default unless urgent steps are taken to ease mounting liquidity pressures, according to a new assessment that highlights growing fiscal strains despite recent signs of macroeconomic recovery. Concerns are mounting over Ghana's public finance, with analysts warning that a worsening liquidity crunch could increase the risk of government payment defaults if immediate corrective measures are not taken. The assessment suggests that whilst key economic indicators have shown signs of improvement, cash flow constraints continue to pose significant challenges to government ability to meet its financial obligations on time. Analyst says delayed payment to contractors, suppliers, and other service providers could undermine investor confidence, slow economic activity, and place additional pressure on businesses. They are calling for stronger fiscal discipline, improved domestic revenue mobilization, and prudent expenditure management to restore liquidity and strengthen public finances. The warning comes as Ghana continues implementing economic reforms under its International Monetary Fund-supported program aimed at restoring debt sustainability and supporting long-term economic stability. Economists maintain that sustaining investor confidence will depend not only on economic growth, but also on government's ability to manage its cash flow effectively and meet its financial commitments. On a foreign front, two firefighters' helicopters have collided whilst responding to a raging wildfire in Greece as the country continues to battle multiple blazes fueled by extreme heat, strong winds, and prolonged dry conditions. Two firefighters' helicopters have collided during an operation to combat wildfire in Greece, adding to the challenges facing emergency crews battling widespread blazes across the country. Authorities say the aircraft were involved in an area firefighting mission when the collision occurred. Emergency responders were immediately deployed to the scene whilst conditions of those on board is being assessed. The incident comes as Greece faces one of its most severe wildfire seasons, with intense heat, dry weather, and strong winds driving fast-moving fires that have threatened homes, forests, and critical infrastructure. Thousands of residents have been evacuated from high-risk areas, while firefighters supported by aircraft and international assistance continued efforts to contain the flames. Greek authorities have urged the public to follow evacuation orders and remain vigilant as high temperatures and adverse weather conditions are expected to sustain the wildfire threat in the coming days. The latest incident underscored the dangerous conditions confronting emergency crews as they work to protect lives and property amidst an escalating climate-driven wildfire crisis. And on that note, we've come to the end of this morning's mega news at 6, coming to you live from our studios on the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate on MBN TV. But before we take leave of you, we'll take a second look at the stories making headlines. MAHAMA condemns poor waste disposal after viral Tema fishmonger sanitation video. In business, liquidity crunch could push Ghana towards government default, analysts warn. On an international front, 2 firefighters' helicopters collide as Greece battles devastating wildfires. Thanks for staying with us. For more news, log on to MBN 360. We're also live on our social media handles. Coming up is a sports update. My name is El Samuels. Good morning.